Hello, everyone. Goodbye. Boom! Nintendo Direct. Originally, we weren't going to have time to react to it because I was going to be away this weekend and I started my new job and my dog got sprayed by a skunk yesterday and I also have a scar on my head that I couldn't leave out in the sun for too long, but...
He's Harry Potter, the chosen one.
I made that joke to some people already, actually, because my glasses and everything. If I shaved my beard, if the scar was just a little bigger, I would just go to everyone and be like, the death of my mother saved the wizarding race. And then they'd be like, David, how does it feel to betray your entire race? Because I don't have any other wizards around me. But no DLC for Hogwarts Legacy. That's not what we're on about. We originally weren't going to react to the Nintendo Direct for those reasons, but we somehow found a way.
It was also a mix of saying fuck it and we have time this week, so we figured fuck it, we might as well just give our thoughts on the latest Direct, which
Direct tries to cuck us every time because some fuck shit happens where Dennis can't record or I can't record or there's a life event happening to one of us at the time every fucking time because Nintendo always announces it the day prior. But we found a way. And I was able to not work today because of my new job. I get to pick and choose what days I work, so we're in there. And I think the highlight of the show...
Highlights.
...that caught me so off guard. I think I mentioned this in passing in when we were doing some predictions for it. It wasn't my main predictions. My main predictions were completely fucking off, in every respect. It was pretty bad. I said they were gonna remaster Star Fox Assault and Kid Icarus Uprising or one of the others, and that was gonna be their one more thing because of the Switch fiscal year thing. But no, I mentioned briefly in passing. I said this sentence. I don't remember what episode it was in. You know what? I think we're due for another Mario and Luigi game. But unfortunately, there's no shot in hell of that happening since Alpha Dream went bankrupt. And then, just to, so Nintendo could just make me even more wrong than I already was.
Nintendo figuratively bent David backwards, on the, bent him forward on the desk and just, inserted their $14 trillion cock, right inside
it right here.
Yeah.
Here it is. I'm holding it in my hands right now.
Let me just say a couple things too, because
about
there were
Mario
plenty
and Luigi Brothership or anything else
of Brothership, and I think even of just the Direct in general. Before we kind of go into the nitty gritty in it, because for one, as far as the headliners for this Direct, I think they were great. There were great announcements. Two of them obviously being the Brothership, and of course, what we thought was long lost, but has somehow managed to pierce the darkness. Metroid Prime 4 is actually going to see the light of day, and we are actually getting it.
I have a lot to say about not only Prime 4, but the fact that it was in this Direct at all. Do you want to talk about Brothership first or later? Do you want to? Should we do Prime now?
And a couple more things, just because I just want to lay it out, kind of what, I guess what we'll be focusing on this Direct. Super Mario Party Jamboree. We have some thoughts on this shit, and it kind of fucking it didn't irritate me too much at first, but the more I thought about it and kind of what this thing actually is, it really bothers me, and I really have to say something. And the more I think about it, it does piss me off as to what this game actually is to us. And another thing too, last thing I guess, just to mention as a bit of an introduction for kind of what we'll be talking about.
Yeah.
The new Zelda, which, it's in the Link's Awakenings style, but in this game, we're going to be playing as, actually, the Legend of Zelda.
They should have called it Legend of Link for the lulz. Just so it could just be perpetually backwards.
They'll be like, what the fuck? Is this and then they realize, oh, it's Zelda being the protagonist this time. Also, one thing too, before we finally move on, Donkey Kong Country people, I'm really sorry. I'm actually really sorry for you. Like, I actually feel bad for you.
3 times. They've released that game 3 times.
Can I also say, it wasn't like that much of a banger even when it first came out?
Yes.
Like, it was.
It's amazing.
Oh, so they're just basically milking the shit out of it until, like.
It's considered by some to be the best platformer ever made.
Oh.
I'm serious. The game's fucking amazing.
Okay.
So, I hope Dennis laid down the law for you all right there. Them's the highlights. It's Mario and Luigi Brothership, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Super Mario Party Jamboree, what was the other one?
4. Donkey
Kong Country Returns, and Prime 4. So, I guess since it's what we were talking about just a little bit at the beginning, we'll get this one out of the way.
Yeah.
Can I say my reaction to Brothership? Can we go with that? I'm asking you for your permission.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Dennis.
I actually wanted to start with that, too.
Well, I mean, so did Nintendo. But yeah, maybe it's just because I'm old and jaded. And, you know, and I hate everything and everyone. And I'm also an adult. But
anything that gives me happiness, I hate.
It's not that. I mean, maybe I just didn't feel the sparkle in my eye yet for a new Mario and Luigi game.
You do have a delayed reaction when it comes to that stuff, though.
I have a delayed reaction to most things in general, and it's why I can't talk to women. Because I think of the right thing to say, like, way later. I'm like, fuck, that would have been perfect! Ugh! Like, it's literally not that I don't realize these things, is that I realize them later. It's like literally the
when you're in the shower.
Exactly, it's the core of my Asperger's. Like, fuck, I should have said that. Somebody insulted me out in public. I'm like, oh yeah, well. Then I'm in the shower with my head against the wall. Like, just water, like leaning against me. And I'm like, fuck, I should have said...
I feel even the most like quick-witted person probably has had those days where it's just like fuck, like, you know, they're in the shower, they're like, they feel the water hitting them, and they're like lathering their hair up, and they're just like, you just hear like a really sharp like fuck, like from the bathroom, because like the guy just realizes like I should have fucking said that.
Cute ass girl at one of the stores I visited the other day, and I didn't think nothing of it until like she made a point to say goodbye to me. I'm like, oh, she wanted to make sure I was comfortable leaving or whatever, and then my mind went like, wait, oh no, is she an option? Because I have a stupid man brain like that. And the second that happens is when like my autistic ass stops treating them like people and thinks to somebody as a prospect, and therefore my mind goes completely blank when you talk to them. It's a rewiring in my head that I've tried to work on for very long. But like, yeah. Once you like break that mold, and I'm stuck at breaking the ice. Once you're actually like in, it's way different. You remember that woman I met at the Best Buy who was like talking to me and like, yeah, that's different. Once it actually gets to that point, it's easy. But when it's somebody brand new, it's just like, I'm a little slow in that regard. And in that, I know that sounds completely irrelevant to what we're talking about, but in that vein, I had a bit of a delayed reaction to the Mario and Luigi announcement because I didn't get excited. Or initially when it dropped. I mean, I did a little. I was like, no way, that's crazy. Yeah. But then before that, my reaction was this. I just went, why? I was like, what? What?
What do you mean, why, though? It's great.
I was like, how? What? I was confused more than anything else. It's like when I watch these directs now, it's like I'm not even looking just for things to get excited about like a kid in a candy store. It's like my stupid, self-righteous, narcissistic ass just wants to wait and see if I was right. And instead, like, we got a Mario and Luigi announcement.
Weren't you kind of validated, though?
A little.
You did predict this a little bit, didn't you?
I did say we were overdue for a new Mario and Luigi game, but then I also explicitly stated that it's not happening, Dennis.
What we also kind of said, though, Thousand Year Door and just a lot of the influx of RPGs for the last, like, year, on top of already, like, we had 2 HD remakes. Thousand Year Door, plus even, like, Legend, Tale of the Seven Stars. And I was just like, you know, when you said that, like, that maybe we are kind of due for another Mario RPG, I was thinking, like, you know, they wouldn't be throwing this many. I'm not saying that Thousand Year Door and Seven Stars is the same game, but
no.
Like, as far as them throwing 2 RPGs at us, and both of them obviously kind of being remakes, but like obviously, you know, they're doing that so like there's not really so much like a big investment for a whole nother like new game, so to speak. Because Brothership, even though I have to say, like, this is actually like a new game, like this isn't like, you know, a remake or anything.
No, it's not a remake of any of them. That's what blew my mind.
But the thing is that when I saw that combat screen, I'm like,
you got
and it's
choked,
obviously,
right?
it's obvious. It's like, I literally just, all I thought of was Superstar Saga, just seeing that combat screen. And I was just kind of like, you know what though? I really fuck with it because for one, Superstar Saga, I know like for anyone who grew up with the GBA around that time, I think was honestly one of the best like single player experiences on that entire console, like
easily,
bar none, like easily. GBA has also had like plenty of like great single player experiences that like you could have played, like a lot of the Battle Network series, a lot of Mega Man like thing was obviously on GBA. There's even Fire Emblem on there too. There was a lot of good shit on GBA. Like I think honestly, like I think Nintendo's also starting to maybe kind of realize that, like, especially for the Switch Online, they like kind of did add what did they add for Switch Online again?
They added let me pull it up real quick.
They add Perfect Dark for all you OG fans from back then. You got your Perfect Dark on Switch Online now. Link to the Past with the Four Swords thing. Metroid, the other GBA Metroid,
Zero Mission, which is a remake of the original game. It's considered one of the best Metroid games, if I'm not mistaken.
Turok, dinosaur shooter, Bang Bang Roar, and then Perfect Dark, which
Bang Bang Roar.
Bang Bang Roar, like
that sounds like you're fucking a 2012 girl. Like Roar XD.
She like plays like I don't know, Halo. She's like Roar, and I guess she like kills you. Like
yeah, that sounds like 2012, like Raw girl. Raw XD.
Raw XD.
Bang,
oh my god,
quick. That's what she said. To give a quick backstory before, like, even like the GBA stuff, it's not that I wasn't excited for Brothership. I was confused. I was just confused. I'm like, there's a new Mario and Luigi? Gotta give you guys a little bit of backstory here if you're not in the know. We never thought
when was
we were
the last one?
2016. It was one of the last 3DS games, Paper Jam. That was the crossover they did with Paper Mario. Very underwhelming game. It was very basic, not like the story was very basic, which sucked because they combined like both worlds. It was that was like peak like shit RPG era Nintendo where Miyamoto was trying to make them as bland as possible at the time and stuff. To give you guys a little backstory, we never thought we were going to get another Mario and Luigi game again because the studio that made them went bankrupt. Alpha Dream closed. They went out of business. They're the ones who made literally all of them. Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, Bowser's Inside Story, Dream Team, Paper Jam, all of them. They went out of business, so we thought they were done after making 5 of those games and after not receiving one for almost a decade. So forgive me for not understanding why the first thing I saw when that fucking Direct opened was a new Mario and Luigi game that looks like this. Like on the Switch with like this weird like half CGI art style and like unique enemies and stuff again. It looks, instead of just generic Goombas and Koopas and everything like, Paper Jam was, it looks amazing. Like it's got like full flesh cutscenes and everything with like different camera angles because it's not just completely top down anymore. It's like the actual like dream scenario of like what a new modernized Mario and Luigi RPG will look like. And now it exists. And we just didn't expect that to happen because the studio went out. So my theory, Dennis, is that everybody's asking who fucking made it because Nintendo didn't reveal that yet. My guess is Monolith Soft. Because a lot of Alpha Dream employees apparently went to Monolith after Alpha Dream shut down. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that because all the assets even look pretty familiar. Look at the walking cycles when they're even walking. I mean, you didn't play Dream Team or Paper Jam, but the walking cycles that Mario and Luigi have on like the map is literally exactly the same as it is in the 3DS.
Can I also just say
Mario
too,
and Luigi
this
games.
Art style for them for the two brothers is so fucking charming.
It is.
I love it so much. It's just so fucking just good. It just looks so fucking good.
Dude, and not only that, like the art style, it's got unique like little things too. What is this Connie character? She looks like a little electrical outlet. Look at this thing.
I love how she said in the trailer, "I am not a pig."
Oh yeah, definitely a cop. Definitely a cop. That'd be funny as hell if they did that.
Blue Lives Matter ass fucking.
The only blue that matters to me are these fucking overalls, you fascist fuck. That's amazing. So this looks great. Very much looking forward to it. It's coming out this year, which is amazing. And can I give a shot in the dark here?
Yep.
I think this game is going to be co-op. It looked like there were some instances where Mario and Luigi were being controlled separately. If you look at the trailer right here, I'm actually going to link you this, I'm going to link you this IGN article because it has all the trailers on the same page. Go to the trailer for Mario and Luigi Brothership and just skip to like, friggin' like 30 seconds in. There's like a little sequence, right? Where the two of them are like climbing up a mountain, but they're not together next to each other. And they're both moving at like slightly different speeds, it looks like, or like they're at different rhythms. And I'm sorry, but it just looks like they're being controlled separately.
Oh, when they're doing like the
little spin jump, the spin jumps across the flowers.
What time step again?
Like 35. Go to like 30, 35, or actually go to like 40, if anything.
40. I'm on 40. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about, right? Like they're bouncing at different rhythms too.
Wouldn't they have announced that already? Like, no. Kind of within the trailer?
Nah.
Like, do they trickle features like that, Nintendo?
Oh,
they do?
Yeah, they do that.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, like, that would be a first for the series. And, you know, everyone is different, right? They kind of do like the Sonic thing, where you know how in like every Sonic game there's like a bunch of different characters you play as? Be like, oh, in Sonic Forces, it's Sonic, the little avatar character, and the classic Sonic. Generations, it's Sonic and classic Sonic. Sonic Unleashed, it's the Werehog Sonic and whatnot. Every Mario and Luigi game is different too. Like there's the OG one in Superstar Saga, then you have the babies, so there's like 4 characters and partners in time. Inside Story is the one where you play as Bowser. Dream Team's the one where, like, you know, Luigi, there's a bunch of, like, multiple Luigis that spawn in, and then Paper Jam is Paper Mario. This one seems to only have Mario and Luigi so far. So it's like, how are you going to make this unique from Superstar Saga? You're going to be able to pull off both Joy-Cons and just rip one next to each other, and, like, there's going to be one person playing as Mario and one as Luigi. That's my guess right now.
I almost feel, though, because the power attacks, like, in this game will require you both to hit those buttons like exactly right. If one guy fucks up, I feel
it's gonna be like doubles. It's gonna be like doubles in like a Smash Brothers tournament or something. Like, dude, you're fucking playing like shit. What is wrong with you? It's gonna be like that, bro. I don't know. I could be dead wrong about that. I was dead wrong about a bunch of things. That's just what I'm getting at from the trailer here. But yeah, Brothership. And also, it can be, before we even end on Brothership, it's looking like it's going to be like the Wind Waker of like the Mario and Luigi games, because it's like an island theme. Yeah. You travel from island to island on like a boat. That's the joke. It's like the Brothership. And yeah, so that looks pretty, that seems like a pretty unique idea. It's not my favorite theme, but like, looks great. Coming out November 7th. Let's go.
Pretty soonish, actually.
Oh, yeah,
I thought it was going to be for next year, but I mean, I guess I'm not complaining. Fuck it.
Yeah, there's like a split screen here too for one section as well, where like Luigi's hitting a switch on the wall and like Mario's doing like a platforming section. This looks great. I can't wait. Yeah. You got anything else on that, or shall we move on?
I guess we'll move on, but then
let's move on.
Yeah, one bit of news.
What do you want to talk about next?
One bit of news, not from the direct, but something that I'm looking through the Nintendo subreddit right now. Okay. And apparently Sakurai says he's recorded his final YouTube video for what? I don't know. But
new Smash confirmed. New Smash confirmed.
I know this may be a little bit off topic, but I'm kind of curious though, like what you may think it might be, because I cannot see it being one final Smash announcement, because I'm pretty sure Sora was like the last one. Like it would. I feel as if like it's not going to be another like a DLC character.
The way that Sakurai works is that like he doesn't start his next project until the one he's working on is finished. I think that's why Smash 4 took a while, because he was finishing Kid Icarus Uprising. He's probably just moving on to his next project, whatever it is.
Saying goodbye to Smash, I guess, or like I guess
no,
Smash Ultimate.
No, not even. It could be Smash for all we know. It could be either a new game, which they feel like it might be time for, or they might just be like remastering Smash Ultimate, which would probably be the more effective thing to do. But like, Who knows? Or, like, it's just might be a new game again. Maybe he's finally working on remastering Uprising for the new Switch, maybe. I don't know what it is. Literally, the only thing I could say is that, like, he's just starting his next project, and so he has to stop doing the YouTube stuff. That's all it is. That's all I know.
Has he been uploading a lot? Like, even ever since, I guess, Super Smash Brothers has been, quote-unquote, finished?
To my knowledge, yeah. And apparently they're, like, even though they're short videos, they're pretty in-depth about his process, or, like, his, like, philosophy and whatnot, which a lot of people were very interested in. Especially since the fact that the man and Nintendo pretty much created a new genre of fighting game and platform fighters, and there's people who would definitely, like, want to pick his brain about that and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't know. That's really all I have to say. I don't know what the hell it is, but all I know is that he's probably just finally gonna get back into game dev and start whatever the hell his next project is. So who knows? It could be Smash. I'm not trying to get people's hopes up, but, like...
Guys, this is also non-direct related. This is just something that I just found, like, off of the Nintendo subreddit. So,
yeah. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that, if I'm being honest. I don't have any other thoughts. Head empty. Thoughts clouding.
So, moving on. Prime 4.
Oh, we're going right into the nitty-gritty.
We're going into the meat and potatoes here.
Ooh.
Prime 4.
More like the Met and the Troids.
The Met and the Troids was not expecting not expecting it at all, I would have to say, this time around.
On the Switch.
Yep.
It's still a Switch game.
But I have a feeling this one's still going to be on the new Switch as well. They'll probably make another re-release for this, like, for the new Switch.
It has to be, right?
Yeah, it has to. Here's the thing. I think that, personally for me, all these new games that, like I played, let me preface this by saying, I played Thousand Year Door, the remake, for, on the normal Switch. It's the only one that I have. That shit chugged a few times, somehow. It chugged.
Thousand Year Door?
And, yeah, it chugged a bit on certain parts. And all I'm saying, though, too, is that all these other new games that are coming out, they're not going to say, like, oh, if you play it on the normal Switch, it's going to be ass. They can't say that. But honestly, I feel as if getting closer now towards, like, the Switch's life cycle, a product cycle, and, like, we're going to be getting the new Switch announced soon. You either have to, or you're going to have to get the OLED to really get, like, the maximum experience and, like, not have the shit chug on you, or just wait until, like, you get the new Switch that's going to be announced by next year. And personally for me, like, I think I was thinking about maybe getting an OLED, like, down the line. Just I have it, like, as a list, like, I have it on, like, the list of things that I kind of want to buy, like, later on. But yeah. I don't think I'll probably be getting the OLED at this point. Like, I'll probably just be waiting for the new Switch announced and everything, and kind of just see, like, what they're going to be doing with it. Because personally for me, again, and I mentioned this before, if they keep the same ecosystem they've already made with the original Switch, and just kind of, like, make it like a Switch 2 or whatever, like, and just kind of, like, port over all of that and, like, have it be backwards compatible, then, like, again, Nintendo wins at that point. They just win. Like, they win harder than even Xbox or even Sony at that point. So
harder than I feel like they already are.
Yeah, like, and I'm hoping for that, because, like, honestly, like, the Switch and kind of what they've done with it over the last, like, couple of, like, nearly decade, I think now at this point, they've literally redeemed, like, their failures from the Wii U and then some, like, tenfold, honestly. And
yeah,
I think they know what they have here. It's a solid foundation from which they can now, like, just build on more and more. And as far as, like, these newer games, they're just getting more demanding, I feel. For, like, if you have a normal Switch or even a Switch Lite, you need, like, you can feel the strain sometimes on it.
Princess
you can feel
Peach
it.
Showtime too, like, the Peach game. I didn't even buy it because it looked like the frame rate, like, I normally don't care about frame rate, like, or like the way that some people, like a very few people, are freaking out about Thousand Year Door. But that's just because of what the game looks like in the art style. It still fits. Peach Showtime was supposed to be peak Nintendo quality, like Luigi's Mansion 3. And there are parts where the game was just chugging, and I'm like, this is a first-party Nintendo game. These are the only ones on the Switch that are supposed to not chug. And they're starting to chug. It's just, it's getting to that point.
Yeah.
It's really getting to that point where, like, the Switch just can't handle these new games no more. They really just can't, and it's getting time to do that. So that's why I thought this was going to be all remasters, and not only was there going to be a new Mario and Luigi game on the Switch before the console was out, but that Prime 4 was even going to be on it. I thought for sure, and it's confirmed in a tweet too. It's dropping on Nintendo Switch, the Switch, in 2025. So, Look, I know it could probably handle, like, certain graphic fidelity. I thought Metroid Prime remastered, because they remastered the original Metroid Prime on Switch a year or two ago. I thought it looked fucking fantastic on the Switch. It really did. And, like, not even just in comparison to the GameCube one, it just looked good in general.
Can we even just say, too, like, Prime, like, regular Prime, like, well, regular Prime, like, Metroid Prime, like, even from the GameCube days, it looked ahead of its time, like, honestly, like, compared to a lot of other stuff that was already on the GameCube by that point. Prime, I think, arguably is probably one of the most best looking games, like, almost, like, I'm not gonna say next gen, but very close to it, in my opinion. It just looked fantastic for its time.
The Cube was a little underrated. Just people didn't take advantage of its full power, I feel, or most of the time they didn't with most games. But, yeah, so I was shocked. I really expected the one more thing to be, I really expected it
Starbucks.
to be... No, I expected it to just be a remake announcement of a big remake game. Like, hey, like a Thousand Year Door thing. Like, look, we actually remastered this game. Holy fuck. I fully expected it to be another one of those, just for, like, a different franchise. I thought it was going to be Kid Icarus or something. I really, in my heart of hearts, still did not expect any news on Prime 4. But apparently they got enough into it where they had, like, some stuff to show off. Honestly. And, like, that's the announcement that people were, like, really freaking out about. I was wrong about everything. I didn't expect Prime 4 announcements. I really thought in my heart of hearts it wasn't going to be on Switch. I didn't think it was going to be the one more thing at the very end. Maybe I should have. I don't know. But, like, good on Metroid fans. Y'all are eating. Y'all are eating.
Oh, y'all are actually eating this time.
Yeah. So honestly, my whole thing about this is they have to still release it on the Switch too, right?
No, they're going to.
I think but at the same time, I think that's the only option. I think they have to release it on both. Maybe
it's gonna be like a Breath of the Wild thing.
Yeah, because I've been told by some people that Metroid's not hi-fi enough to be the launch title. And I don't know if that's true. Like, there have been some shitty-ass launch titles on Nintendo consoles. Not for a while. You know, Breath of the Wild was the launch title on the Switch. But before that, the Wii U, I don't even remember.
Let me see.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the Wii U's launch titles were, but I remember them being pretty... There was it was a new Super Mario Brothers game, which people were pretty sick of by that point. And, yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3...
Some game called Zombie U, I remember. It's a new Super Mario Brothers game, yeah.
Yeah. Not
and
the
the
best.
3DS launch titles, holy fuck. It was literally just remasters. So Star Fox 64 3D, it was Ocarina of Time 3D, Pilot Wings 64 3D. Those were the launch titles for the 3DS. The 3DS, as amazing as the console was, its launch was shit. It had nothing. Even Uprising didn't come out until like a year later, if I'm not mistaken.
It really was just one of those, like, slow climbs. But eventually, like, you know, the fucking, the library that we got out of the 3DS, like, by the end, like, just
carried the fuck out of Nintendo, like, during that era. Took him out of the Darklands. So, yeah, so maybe they realized Metroid's not enough to sell consoles for the Switch too, if their foundation for it for the Switch is this strong. And that's probably what it is. It's just because, like, so many people bought a Switch, it's bordering outselling the PS2 and becoming the greatest selling console of all time, period.
By the end of its life cycle. So.
By the end of its life cycle, yeah. So maybe they think, maybe we'd be dumb to not release it on the Switch at this point. Especially considering Nintendo would be going back on that when they first announced Metroid Prime 4 in 2017. Just for them to be like, hey, it's not on we lied, it's not on the Switch anymore. Fuck you. $400 more, please. I guess they probably thought that would make them a bad image. They have to release it. I don't know.
No.
I feel like it's both smart and dumb to just release Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch. I'm so back and forth on this, Dennis. I'm going crazy.
The case of Prime 4, I feel as if... Because people have... companies have done this before where, like, okay, it was on the last-gen console. Let's bring this one to, like, the new gen. And, it's... I could see, honestly, Nintendo doing it. Like, I think, though, I won't say that the new Switch will... just have, obviously Prime 4 as like a launch title. That would be kind of stupid. Like, obviously for Nintendo's case, like every new console's launch always had, like, I feel, a Mario game, which I feel will be their launch title for that new Switch.
It's actually not true.
No, it's not.
No, not if the Wii did not launch with a Mario game. Nor did the Wii U.
All right, well, I'm full of shit. Never mind then. But if anything, though...
Or the 3DS.
But I feel like they will be treating this launch title like... this new Switch's launch. They'll be treating it very well. And I feel as if, though, Prime 4 will be part of that lineup just because... If I'm going to be honest, I think comparing it to a lot of the Switch's... I guess later games that we've seen it towards the end of its product cycle, I think it's probably up there as probably the most high fidelity, if that makes sense. Like, because I mean, as far as like their own and like within like Nintendo's own like sphere, not like when they ported over like Skyrim and shit and like other games like thing towards the into the Switch. Like, we're talking just strictly, like, Nintendo titles. I think it's even up there with even Breath of the Wild and even, like, Tears of the Kingdom, just kind of, like, how demanding it may be for, like, for, like, even, like, the normal Switch, like, for the first Switch. So, I even feel like they may even do a thing where they even bring Tears of the Kingdom to the new Switch as well. Like, they might do that as well, where it's like, oh, like, look, it can really take advantage of like the new hardware that we have for this new Switch. And I mean, hey, like, if like because it really will depend on what they announce with that announcement trailer for the new Switch. Because it's not just gonna be, oh yeah, by the way, look, new console, but we have as far as new games that we have slated for release, we don't know yet. So, just be excited about that first, and then we'll get back to you about, like, the games. Like, they're going to announce games along with the console. So, I really think down the line, especially towards, like, thing release, like, they'll definitely kind of, like, put it up there that, like, hey, we're going to be bringing some of these games from, like, from the old Switch over to the new one. Be excited. I feel as if it's gonna be like it's gonna be a mix of like new releases and like new re-releases essentially.
The Switch sold well though.
It did.
With the Wii U, they did that because like a lot of people weren't playing those games because it was on they were on their like lowest selling console.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what precedent does that set for them to release not Breath of the Wild, to release Tears of the Kingdom again, just because the console is more powerful. And then, like, years down the line, they drop another, like, new Zelda game or whatever. The Switch 2 becomes underpowered, and then it's on the new one because 8K. It's like Nintendo... I feel like Nintendo's not the company to do that. Just, Prime 4 is kind of like a weird example because, like, they had to start the whole game over. And, like... And also because people have been waiting for the game for years. So for them to just up and put it only on the next console, maybe they felt like that would just be, like, disingenuous. Because I'm starting to realize, it's a weird scenario, right? Because like you said, some games are starting to chug on the Switch, and we don't want that to happen to Prime 4. Nintendo doesn't want that to happen to Prime 4. That game's supposed to be like peak graphical fidelity and quality for Nintendo standards, I should say. So much so to the point where they literally restarted the whole development of the game because they didn't like the direction the studio that they hired to make it originally was taking it before they just gave it to Retro or whoever it was. So I'm torn. I still think, like, them releasing it only on the Switch, it'll still sell because it's their highest selling console. is good, but at the same time it'll be underpowered. But then making it the launch title for the new Switch will give it what it needs to give. But at the same time, it's like Metroid's not. I feel like it's not hi-fi enough to be the launch game. Even though there hasn't been a Mario launch game on a console in a while. Even Mario Kart 8 Deluxe didn't launch on the Switch until a month after after the console dropped. So maybe they just don't care, and they feel like Prime 4 will be enough as like the people slowly start to buy the console while the Switch 2 builds a foundation instead. I don't know. Do you think people will be insulted if they release it on the Switch 2 as well as the Switch? And then people will be like, "Oh, why did you do that?" Now, like, or do you think it's gonna get people to like really like kick their ass or like get them to buy a new console for them, even though they have a Switch to get it on?
I don't think Prime 4 is gonna be the game that pushes people to buy a console, because I look at the PS5 and like a lot of its lack thereof exclusives that I'm just kind of like, it's really like, I mean. You could buy a PS5 secondhand for pretty reasonable price, honestly. Like, if you look up even on Marketplace or wherever, like, you can get a pre-owned PS5 for less than $400 if you want to. If you really want to, you can get one. But there is, like, at least in the PS5's case, there is a lot of there is not much really there that would make me want to go, like, oh shit, like...
Right.
I need to get a PS5 to play this game. There's really nothing. Like, at first, I thought it was going to be God of War Ragnarok. But then I found out that, oh yeah, there is a PS4 version. And I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just play that. Like, why would I, like, exactly. If I had a cheaper alternative, I'm probably just going to go for the cheaper alternative. Right. And unless, like, it was, like, a banger of a game that, like, okay, shit, like, I have to get this console to play it. Metroid Prime 4, I don't think is that at all for the new Switch. I feel it will have to either be a new Zelda on that Switch or a new Mario game. Personally, for me, like,
that's my guess. Yeah, I think this one will actually probably launch with a new Mario because it's been a long time since Odyssey at this point, and they just made Tears of the Kingdom, so there's no way there's like a big Zelda again. And what are they going to do? They're going to launch it with Star Fox. I love Star Fox, but come on. That ain't going to be the console seller either.
Yeah, and Tears, I know for a fact, will have a DLC or two coming down the line. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, but they can't just put Tears on the new one, though, because it's been way too soon for Tears to release. That's going to make people mad. Prime 4, that's why I said Prime 4 is like a special case of releasing it on both. You know what I mean?
I also then hope... in that case, because we've even said that, like, oh, we want the new Switch to be backwards compatible, right? So I feel then a re-release kind of would make no sense, because it's like, oh, like, I feel as if they've already made these games demanding at the start to make it a point where it's like, hey, maybe now, like, the incentive is like, if you don't want this shit to chug on your normal Switch, buy the new one, because, like, you won't get that chug. Like, you'll literally get like peak performance and everything. Yeah. And it's like, you could obviously just drop the regular 300 and just buy a normal Switch. You could do that, of course, but if you want, obviously, again, like, it's almost like those subscription plans a little bit. Like, there's like tiers to it. It's like, hey, if you want just a Switch and like be able to play Switch games, you can do that. Just pay the regular 300. But if you want like the ultimate experience and shit, you have to pay $450 or however much that fucking new Switch is gonna be.
Yeah.
To play it.
And you can keep save data too with like your Nintendo account. I think, which I'm sure you'll be able to log
They're not
into.
getting rid of that ecosystem at all. They're not getting rid of the infrastructure they literally built up over the last like 7-8 years. They're just not going to do it.
This is the infrastructure that made this console almost the highest selling console of all time so far, and very well might be by the time their next one comes out. For them to up and throw that away makes absolutely no fucking sense. Yeah. So in conclusion, in my thoughts, I guess, is I think Prime 4 is still going to be both, or at the very least it should be, and they should do what you said with the backwards compatibility if they can make these games run a little bit better on the new ones. But I really hope they don't do some bullshit where, like, they make people rebuy, like, all the old ones again.
Oh, no, yeah.
Because, again, the reason they did that, Nintendo's not the company to do that. They're scummy in different ways, like legal jargon and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're not scummy in the greedy way because they have so much money that they could just sell dildos for the rest of their life and they'll be totally fine. Like, we just drop video games. We're a dildo company now. Seriously, they bank so much money, they're gonna be fine till, like, the 2050s or some shit.
That'd have been one hell of a dildo that they developed.
I'll pull this up again. For them to up and throw that away would be absolutely insane because the reason they re-released all the Wii U games is because the shit didn't sell. So like all these games were stuck on a dead console.
Even Legacy Collection for Battle Network, that was a Wii U game. God, that was a Wii U fucking thing that they brought over finally.
They could have just re-released Star Fox Zero. I mean, the game was bad for other reasons, but like if they didn't have motion controls forced, that would have been great. But there's no way. It was way too heavily integrated into that. Okay, I think we're at the 40-minute mark right now, so I think we might have to move on. How you feel? Oh, shit, ow! Oh, I accidentally started playing that video on the IGN page. It was so loud. Fuck! Anyway, Dennis, how do you feel about Zelda Echoes of Wisdom? You play as a girl. You play as a girl.
You play as the actual titled character of the fucking game.
They still should have called it Legend of Link.
Just for the memes, for the lols.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Echoes of Wisdom is a great title. I like that a lot.
I have to say, though, like, I think, because going towards, like, just talking about, like, the Switch's, like, end of product cycle that's coming up, like, we're basically almost halfway through the year now at this point. And, December's coming up like pretty quick, honestly. Quicker than I think most people realize. And the summer's going to go by pretty fast. And within that span, I don't know if Nintendo's going to be throwing up another Direct like so soon. Probably closer towards the winter, I feel. Like, and that's like when we'll probably get the news of like the new Switch and everything. Which is going to be like a hell of a one. Like a hell of a Direct, honestly. Yeah,
because apparently we're hearing about the... I was wrong. Apparently, we're not waiting till the end of the next fiscal year. It's supposed to be... Yeah, I read the tweet wrong originally. It's actually within this fiscal year that they're making their announcement about the Switch 2. So I thought it was going to be after March. It's sometime before March. Actually, they're announcing the next one. And that's why they had to... That's why they had to announce that we're not announcing anything about the Switch 2 in this presentation. I just read it wrong. This whole time, I thought it was going to be like a whole nother year before we figured it out. But no, that's not the case. So, yeah, that's pretty dope.
And so, like, I feel as if in Nintendo's case, like, I don't know how they do things, personally. Obviously, I don't really think any of us do, except the people who do work in Nintendo, like, specifically Nintendo Japan. But I think, it probably is fair to say that even during Tears of the Kingdom and when they were working on that project, they have and still also like just have like several other projects that are that are in their pipeline that like once we move on, like we move on from Tears of the Kingdom and like finish it, okay, we'll move on to like Echoes of Wisdom. Because even in Square Enix's case, and this is not obviously related to Nintendo, so to speak, but in Square Enix's case, they literally said, like, I think Nomura even himself said that I'm going to be working on Kingdom Hearts 4 after I'm done with Final Fantasy Rebirth. And Rebirth just wrapped up and everything. So, like, now they're going to be moving on to Kingdom Hearts 4. And, Kingdom Hearts 4 hasn't really had any news since, like, Final Fantasy, like, was still being worked on.
It's like 2021, something
This is 2021, yeah. So, like, 3 years that, like, we just, like, we got that announcement trailer from before, like, where, Sora was running through Shibuya, but, like, nothing else, like, after that, ever since then. So, I think it's kind of the same vein where, like, Aonuma basically, like, he had this, like, down his pipeline, but, like, obviously Tears of the Kingdom came first. So, now we're going to be working on this one. And I kind of find it so funny that, like, at least they're sticking with that Link's Awakening art style, which, I mean, to its credit, is really cute. And it's actually really charming as well. Like, I feel as if, like, people cannot underestimate that word, like, charming, when it comes to, like, a video game. Yeah. And for Thousand Year Door and even a lot of others, which, like, maybe, it's even funny, too, because, like, when Wind Waker was coming out, like way back when, people hated it. They like were like, what the fuck? Like, this is not the Ocarina of Time like art style, because also the tech demo that they had when the GameCube was coming out had like a next gen looking Zelda. And like, so they thought like, okay, that's what we're going to be getting. But then no, instead they got Wind Waker. And it was after Wind Waker that we got Twilight Princess, you know, for the Wii. Because, you know, they just figured like, okay, this is what people wanted. And so, but like going back, I guess, in the case of like Link's Awakening and like them sticking with that art style, I kind of really do like that this is like the other Zelda game that like, you know, people, I guess people can look forward to, because I know for a fact that Link to the Past is beloved by so many people, and they loved that like top-down 2D Zelda, like very much so. And this is just like another extension of that like they're gonna be able to enjoy, because if there is one game that I feel as if can probably do well if as a remake, would be Link to the Past. But I also feel that them going down this route of like, essentially this is a new Zelda game. Like, we never got like, you know, this is like, it's just not like obviously like the headliner that fucking Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild is, or even Twilight Princess.
Yeah, it's like a side project, because it's probably a little easier to make than something massive like Tears of the Kingdom. This was probably in development during Tears.
You could even see like that this was, I'm not saying this is like an entire asset rip, obviously, but like I'm pretty sure there is still plenty of assets from Link's Awakening in this game, which like again, like I'm not against like at all. Like, it's just like, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you got now you have those assets. What game are you gonna make out of it? Because, you know, Majora's Mask was a huge asset rip, but people celebrate that fucking game like till the cows come home. Honestly,
Tears of the Kingdom,
and Tears of the Kingdom, yeah. So it's like, again, also we may have shitted on asset rips before. We have, but like it all depends on what you do with it and like what you're gonna make out of it. Because if it is just like an asset rip, and because you were just too lazy to make new ones, and like it's essentially the same game, then your game's ass. I'm sorry, like it's just like there's no love in it, and like, you know, it's just heartless.
Every game uses assets from prior ones to an extent, but when like it's just so similar to the point where like it's nothing to it. At least this one, you play as Zelda, and there's like different abilities you can do. Like they added crafting. You can like conjure things, which is something new.
It's Minecraft Zelda.
Yeah, Minecraft Zelda. All the kids love crafting. We have to add crafting to the game.
You like Roblox kids?
Well, Zelda flosses after she fucking beats an enemy. It's not like, it's just like, hey, it's literally just Link's Awakening remastered with Zelda. You know, they at least, it looks the same, but they changed the gameplay. Which is how some people didn't feel about Tears of the Kingdom enough, even though the world was way, way bigger, which is why some people liked it and some people didn't. This at least added a core gameplay element that you could not do that makes the game different. That's like Nintendo's philosophy, or even like just Japanese developers, like period, who work with Nintendo, their philosophy. It's the same with Sakurai when creating Echo Fighters for Smash. He says like if they're an Echo Fighter, even if they have one difference to the original character, they get their own slot, which was what his original one was. But then, like, if they're similar enough, they get, like, Echo Fighter slots. They have their rules, you know? So I think Echoes of Wisdom looks great. I think it's a nice market that they're going to probably tap into a little bit for making Zelda the protagonist for once, which is actually pretty cool. I think it looks very cute. Like Dennis said, that Nintendo charm also very much there, which is important, you know? Like, for a game, when a game is going to be charming, it's like, when it's like has Nintendo behind it too, it just like adds to that charm a little bit, like, because, you know, just of their status and whatnot. So I think that one looks pretty cute. I'm about it.
I even do like though that they're actually emphasizing now like their female leads, which, like, you know, we've had Zelda and Peach kind of always be there like in the background, like as like just the hero, like the princess that we have to save. But then now it's like, you know, we've seen Zelda, like, you know, Zelda and even Peach, like, are fairly capable, but it's like they never really got their chance to shine. And, you know, we already had the Peach game beforehand. I have a feeling there was probably, like, a think tank that were like, what if we make a Zelda game? It's like, okay, yeah, but Zelda is the character you play. And they're like, this guy's fucking genius. Like, yeah, let's do it.
I think PC Principal was just in the board of directors for Nintendo now.
Probably.
And he probably just went to all those fuckers who was like, wee, wee, wee. Hear that? Hear that, Chuds? That's the sound of 2024 pulling you over. Suck it. And he just drops the mic. I think that's probably what happened, because there's Peach Showtime, there's this and whatnot. And obviously Metroid, it's like, yeah, it's 2024. We're all about this now. Nintendo doesn't have to choose between marketing to boys or girls anymore, like they fucking were forced to in the 80s when like they started selling video games in this country. So kudos. I'm happy in that department. Not to mention the new Switch Lite. Yeah, not to mention the new Switch Lite that's dropping with it. That gold Hylian one. That looks that looks pretty so gotta get at least one more exclusive in before
I have a lot of things that I have that are against the Switch Lite in general, but I think though, honestly, like I do like that Nintendo, you know, has an affordable option for a lot of people, because it is a lot cheaper than like even like a normal Switch. Like sometimes, you know, $300 can be just out of some people's price range, but it's like, hey, like if I could pay just $200 and like, you know, actually be able to play Switch games like on it, like, hey, fuck it, like why not? Like, I just hate though that like it really is like all you're getting is a glorified Game Boy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I know what it is, I know who it's meant for, but it's just like, that's what it is. It's a fucking overgrown Game Boy that like you can't dock.
Or just a collector's item for some people.
Or a collector's item, yeah. Because like this is one that's gonna go for money after like after the product run is over.
Always do. First year I did the Nintendo program was when Sword and Shield dropped, and they dropped that Switch Lite with that one. I remember. Last year when they had the exclusive Red Mario OLED, which I kind of wanted to buy, but I thought I really don't need because I know Nintendo's going to let me keep the Switch they gave me. Plus I like the white theme. It goes on my desk and whatnot, so that's real nice. So, yeah. Sound of 2024 pulling them over. And apparently that's in the vein of their new releases as well, as there's a new Mario Party, and
oh, this will be our last one. We need some hate in here. We need some hate.
Nah, I mean, we could combine the hate with Donkey Kong, I guess, if we don't have that much time left. Or
it's
I could just
more
see
hate
if I can
and pity
condense
than
it.
hate.
Yeah, because, like, I know what you're thinking. Like, David, Nintoonist, what the fuck? Like, you're upset about Mario Party? Listen, I am more nostalgic for Mario Party as a franchise than almost any video game ever made. The N64 Mario Parties were my life when I was a kid. Playing them with Dennis, and with our boys Dane, and with his brother Matt, and I don't think we ever played with Jonah. We gotta play Mario Party with Jonah at some point. Yeah. Fucking, you might think, why am I not happy about this? It's because this confirmed that we are never ever getting DLC for Superstars. And why? You gave so much DLC to all the shitty ass Mario sports games that are on the Switch. You added characters to those games like for
this is gonna be a David
free.
Rant. I'm gonna let David rant here.
You added characters to those games that should have been in the base roster for free. You literally nerfed a character in a Mario sports game because he was too broken, and in the process ruined the game's netcode, which sucked because the game was fire in Mario Tennis. And then there's Strikers, which don't even get me started on that game. That had its own slew of like content issues and whatnot. All the while, never adding any DLC for Superstars.
5 boards.
You really thought that was enough?
5 boards.
Beyond my rant, though, there usually are only like 5-ish boards in any given Mario Party at any given time.
No. But the thing with Superstars was that it was supposed to be a culmination of 4 games. 5, I think. Like 4.
Even more. 4. All the Mario parties that were on the GameCube and the N64.
Wait, what was it?
They added Yoshi's Tropical Island.
Yeah. Which was a 2 map. That was a party 2 map, I think.
Yeah. No, that was 1. That was the first
That was
game.
a party 1 map.
It was Yoshi's Tropical Island. I think Peach's Birthday Cake. Fucking Space Land from 2. One other land from 2. Was it Pirate? It wasn't Pirate Land. Fuck, I don't remember. There was
the amount of mini games, how many was it?
Let's hold on. Let's just fuck it.
Yeah. Let's look at the numbers for Superstars.
Mario Party Superstars boards. Okay. Horrorland. It was Horrorland. Okay, so... Yeah, it was literally fucking Yoshi's Tropical Island, Spaceland, Peach's Birthday Cake, Woody Woods from 3, and then Horrorland from 2. And that's it. Which is cool.
In terms of minigames, there was 100 that can be played.
That's a pretty fucking good amount.
That is a good amount. No, it's a good amount. But is Jamboree really all that different? It feels like an extension of this.
It is a little bit because they actually brought some boards back into Jamboree. Actually, if I could find the fucking
boards we could have gotten in fucking Superstars.
Yeah, I was really upset because they added Mario's Rainbow Castle to Jamboree. It's in Jamboree, straight up. And which is kind of sad because that's one of my favorite boards of all time. It's not one of the best, objectively. The board is basically just a game of blackjack. You just have to, like, hope you don't get to the end when somebody flipped the switch to Bowser between Toad, whichever one gives you the star. But, man, I wish that was in Superstars. And what was the other board they brought back? They brought, like, 2 boards back from, like, the OG games. It was, oh, Cowboy Land, Western Land from 2.
Yeah, I love Western Land. That's the thing. These were all the boards that I wish were DLC. Because, like, I mean, maybe it was a little bit premature to think, like, okay, they're going to give it the DLC treatment the same way that they gave Mario Kart 8. Maybe it was a bit premature to think so. Maybe so. But, bro, I would have dropped money for that shit, no problem.
Me too.
I would have. It would have been an easy sell for me.
Like,
because I love Mario Party.
We're so nostalgic for the older games, and like the new ones are cool. Like Super Mario Party was underrated and was actually a little overshadowed by Superstars when they released Superstars. Because you only can play it with one Joy-Con. It was a little different because each character has like a different dice block that they roll, and it doesn't play completely like the traditional Mario Party that we wanted for years. So not everybody liked it, even though the online was fun and whatnot. I played it with some friends for a little bit. Then they dropped Superstars, which was just a love letter to the old Mario Party games, with how nostalgic we are for those games. They know how nostalgic we are. When you open the game, it literally opens in like the little field that you go down the warp pipe to go to like Party Land and shit, and a little text block appears in the game. It says, "Look familiar?" The whole game is just fucking nostalgia bait. It's the most member-berry shit ever, but that's what we want from Mario Party, because Mario Party fucking sucked for years. Like, as soon as they added the car shit to 9, and then they released 10 on the Wii U, which was just a fucking travesty of a game. That game sucked. Full fucking stop. It sucked. Then they released Superstars and added nothing to it. And now we got confirmation that that will never happen. Beyond the fact that they released that game in, like, 2017 or some shit. I don't even remember. And then they made a sequel to Super Mario Party instead. It's just... and it's like fucking motion controls too with some of the mini games again. It's like, oh, just give us boomers gamers the old shit back. I don't know, just like make like more characters or something, or more boards. We just wanted more boards for fucking Superstars. Ugh.
Honestly, the lineup of the minigames was already fine in Superstar Saga. We just wanted more boards.
Superstar Saga.
Whatever. Superstars.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Superstars.
I gotta break your balls. And I'm not saying that Super Mario Party looks bad. I'm sure it's gonna be fun. Like I said, Super Mario Party was underrated, so I'm kind of glad they made a sequel to it. And there's online functionality in it too, so y'all don't all have to be in the same room with each other and stuff. But yeah, it doesn't hit the same for me. It just doesn't
hit the same, man.
And I think they know that there was like a small audience of gamers who weren't gonna like all the new boards and wanted more old shit, which is probably why they brought Rainbow Castle and Cowboy Land into this shit. But I don't know. So I'm probably still gonna get it. I'll play it with like friends and whatnot, and it'll still be fun. But just know that while I'm playing it, in my heart of hearts, it's not what I wanted.
No.
Nor was Donkey Kong Country Returns for the 3rd time. They released this game 3 times. 3 fucking times.
Donkey Kong fans, I'm so sorry.
Fire-ass game, don't get me wrong, and the new one is going to include the levels that they added in the 3DS remaster of the game.
But are you really going to buy the same game 3 times now?
I never even played Tropical Freeze on the Switch yet. because I never finished it on the Wii U. So like I'm definitely not gonna buy Returns, at least not for like a while. What a somber note to end it on with what we just hated instead of like what we loved. All in all, fire direct. Not everything in this direct was for me. I didn't get too hyped at most of it was JRPG shit. And even like the stuff that wasn't JRPG shit, I don't care too much about. Like I'm interested in Prime 4, but I'm not the biggest Metroid guy, at least not yet. So for me it was all right. Definitely an objectively great direct, but not for me personally.
I agree. I think honestly, generally, I'll give this one like an 8.5 out of 10.
I would agree.
Sure. Like I think honestly, like, you know, we didn't get Star Fox, so that's why I lost the 1.5. But you know, it's like, you know, what are you gonna do? It's like you can't win them all. You know what I'm saying?
Or you know, any of them.
Oh yeah, any.
If you're a Star Fox fan.
Hey yo, I'm still holding out that last direct for the year in December. Yo, we're gonna get Star Fox. We're gonna get Star Fox.
Just drop a remaster of Assault. It's such a good way to round out the end of the Switch. I don't care if it chugs. Just fucking give it to me. Give it to me.
Give it to me.
I'm down to wait for a remaster of definitely down to wait for Kid Icarus Uprising. If you're gonna remaster that game, I'm down to wait till the Switch 2. Because that game deserves like the full like HD like
it's
4K
so epic
treatment.
Like it's so like kind of just subtly epic, if that makes sense. It's
have
like,
you ever played it? It's a
I
top
only
5
ever
game
seen
for
like
me.
Oh, it's a top 5. Ooh.
Top 5 game for me all time. Yes. It's insanely underrated. Some people don't like the 3DS controls holding it back, but the story is incredible. Graphically, it's only just held back by the 3DS a little bit, even though it had like cool 3D effects. That's why we want like an HD remaster for it. It's just I want that game to get the full treatment. But we're already going on a little too long at this point. It's we gotta wrap here.
I need a shit.
I need to jack off, so and also do laundry and shit. So boom, plugs, youtube.com/Nintoonist, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know what your favorite announcement in the direct was, either on here or on Spotify, which you can leave a 5-star review on that help our SEO, or listen on Apple Podcasts if that's what you prefer. Just tell your friends about the podcast if you liked it. This was a little impromptu, plus we had internet issues, so please, just throw us a bone. Not in the literal sense, just throw us a bone. Not in the Mario Party sense, where like you throw a bone, like to make the chain chomp like get away from you, because you can't do that anymore because it's stupid Jamboree. Still gonna buy it because I'm a fucking simp. We love y'all.
Yeah, we both know we're gonna buy it.
We love y'all so much. Goodbye. I gotta edit this like right now.
I have to shit so bad.